But yeah, keep the comments coming. Keep the comments coming. We
Yeah, and hit
appreciate it.
us on the voicemail 314-649-3113 and give us your thoughts, discussions on any of these episodes. And
Mm-hmm.
so the next one up, what if the illustrious Detox came out,
Yes.
announced around 2002, Dr. Dre's final concept album, he claimed it, a planned hip hop musical, Detox became the most mythological unreleased album in music history. After years of delays, leaks, and scrap iterations, Dre officially shelved it in 2015 when he decided to release Compton in 2015. Um, with this mythical album was supposed to come out between '04, it was '04, '05 supposed to come out. Then again in 2010, 2011, it was another push for it. And there was
Mm-hmm.
leaks and all kind of things throughout that era. But let's start here though, Kyle. What what if Dr. Dre dropped Detox? Let's start first with what do you remember about the Hubba Bubba Bound Detox back then, like historically, like what do you remember like hearing in around the like the water coolers they say?
It was supposed to be the best album. I mean, from what we were told that Dre had been working on this album for the better part of 2 years or maybe even 3 years. Like he had
Mm-hmm.
locked himself into his house and in the studio and wasn't like doing anything else but working on this album. And then we started hearing, and you got to remember too, folks, we really didn't have I mean, the internet was a thing, but we weren't on the internet like that at that particular time. And we started hearing rumblings about, guest features and who was going to be on it and this and that. And granted, we had already had the Chronic, right? So, but we were told that this was going to be better than the Chronic, like 10 times better than the Chronic, which was crazy because at that
Yeah.
time the Chronic was a groundbreaking album. And so the hype was just there, D. I mean, like everybody was waiting on this album. And so every hip hop purist, every hip hop commentator, in Source magazine, they talked about it. Like, is this going to be the year that we get that album Detox? And it never happened. It never happened. And I think as the years went on, uh, as fans, the anticipation, or anytime somebody would mention that the possibility that the album was coming, we got hyped up about it. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think what happened was they took a concept of an album and blew it up, and it became a big mystery. And then it went from becoming a mystery to something that that we may or may not see. And then it became like a running joke. Like, yeah, you'll get this. Chicks would be like, yeah, I'll give you some. As soon as Detox comes out, you know what I mean. So Detox became like a running joke. So it was, but it was because of the love and the reverence for Dre and everything. But it was definitely propelled by the streets hype machine, because again, we didn't have the internet, but the streets had it hyped up, man, and we were waiting for it, and it just never came out.
Because it was gonna have East Coast people, Midwest people,
Mm-hmm.
South. It's just to give people some references here of these are some of the tracks that were released or leaked that were supposed to be on Detox, just to give everybody a framework before we go into the what if. Kush was Snoop Dogg featuring Akon that came out in 2010. I
Mm-hmm.
Need a Doctor featuring Eminem that came out in 2011. Under Pressure with Jay-Z that came out in 2010. Topless with Nas and T.I. and Eminem that came out in 2010. Die Hard featuring Eminem that came out in 2011. Popped Off, Shit Popped Off, or slash Shit Popped Off featuring T.I. Here We Go Again featuring The Game. And It Could Have Been You featuring Nas, R. Kelly, and Bishop Lamont in
Mm,
2009.
mm.
So there's a whole nother section
Yes.
of beats that got repurposed
Yes.
for other
Talk about
rappers.
it. Talk about it.
So versus In the Club was supposed to be on
Bruh.
Detox. The Recipe from Kendrick Lamar
Kendrick Lamar. Yeah.
was supposed to be on Detox.
Crazy. Crazy.
Throwback from Usher from
Wow.
Just Blaze production was
Just
supposed to
Blaze.
be on Detox. Those are the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that, y'all. Those are three certified banging songs. In the Club, The Recipe, which is Kendrick Lamar's foray into the mainstream. Before swimming pools. It was the
Mm-hmm.
recipe is what I heard first. Because the
Yeah, the
first time I
recipe
heard
was
Kendrick,
like it was like a B-side on Good Kid, Mad City.
yeah, but
It was
it was
like,
the first single, technical single. It was before swimming pools.
yeah.
It
Oh,
was the
no
one,
doubt,
it's the
no
one
doubt.
where Dre's on there is like smoking the weed with
Yeah,
you.
I love that
Yeah.
song, man. I
And do
love
you
that song.
remember the show Ridiculousness?
Yeah, yeah.
So man, I always tell them the first time I heard of Kendrick Lamar, I saw him on some things and maybe heard it, but I was at a young lady's house in 2011,
Mm-hmm.
and I woke up and she was cooking, and it was playing in the background. I was like, and I woke up and I was like, "Yo, what is this?" It
Mm-hmm.
was Kendrick Lamar performing the recipe.
Wow. So you had never heard Section 80 before that?
I heard some of those, but I mean, like where I was like,
Okay.
the thing that I'd heard, but I didn't know who he was, like
You
for
ain't know who
real,
it was. Okay. Okay.
like what
Yeah.
he looked like. I hadn't associated the face with the music
Gotcha.
necessarily.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And
Gotcha.
I'd run out and I'm like, oh, that's Kendrick Lamar. Ever since then, I went back to the crib, I went to get Section 80. I'm talking literally
Mm-hmm.
immediately.
Yep.
Got that and the joint before that. Immediately just downloaded both of
Yeah.
them.
Overly
Immediately.
dedicated. Shout out to K Dot.
Overly dedicated, immediately got it. But the recipe was that beat. So think about if that
Mm-hmm.
was supposed to be on Detox.
That's
But
crazy.
in the club, Kyle.
You know what? And I heard this, and I'm sure people in the comments can correct me if I'm incorrect, but I heard that there were several beats that ended up on Get Rich or Die Trying that were supposed to be on Detox. In the Club was one, Heat was one, Patiently Waiting was another one. These were supposed to be on Detox, and Dre scrapped them. And Game was allegedly like, "Hey man, let me get." I mean, excuse me, 50 was like, "Let me get that beat." And I don't know how true that is. Maybe again, maybe somebody can confirm it, because here's the thing: we always got different perspectives as to maybe that beat was because it's a Dre beat. We're assuming that maybe it was coming from Detox,
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, like you said, In the Club, that was a huge single, obviously for 50 and Dre, and for that not to, but just imagine In the Club being a lead single for Dre coming out, releasing that album. That would have been crazy. But man,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
named
okay.
some
So
smokers,
I
man.
even got more, Kyle. I got some more for you. I'm in the
Go
Google.
ahead. Go
I found
ahead.
some more. Crack a Bottle, Eminem on
I remember
featuring
that.
Dre and 50 Cent was supposed to be on
Mm-hmm.
Detox. New Day, 50 Cent featuring Dr. Dre and Alicia Keys was supposed to be on there.
Okay.
Higher from the Game
Game.
was
Yeah.
supposed to be on Detox.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Compton, Kendrick Lamar featuring Dre was supposed to be
Yeah.
on Detox. And West Side Story slash This Is How We Do
Game.
from the Game were originally supposed to be on Detox.
I can believe that. I can definitely believe that. I mean, like, This Is How We Do. Man, come on. Yeah, Drake. So what we're saying is, folks, is that there were several iterations of what we thought could have been Detox, and for whatever reason, it just never came out. And if these beats were truly meant for Detox, Dre probably could have had the album, the album of the century.
Yeah, no, literally.
Easy.
I mean, we name singles that are big hits and even like underground tracks that people love
Mm-hmm.
in this in
And just
these.
listen to all the rappers you name: Game, 50, Nas, Eminem. I mean, just to name a few, K Dot. I mean,
Yeah,
like Ti. Those are heavy hitters, man. I mean, like, so you put all of them on one album, because we know Dre ain't rapping like that. But even if he
no.
did get on there and rap a little bit, it's still, man, that album would have been out of here and just never came out for whatever
Yeah.
reason.
So, what do you think if Dre dropped Detox? What do you think? How do you think things could have changed? How did it have been different? Because
I think,
I guess his excuse is that Compton was his Detox, but
well,
I think he
yes
got
and no.
backdoored into Compton, not backdoored
Well,
into it, but saw the success of the movie and was like,
yeah.
"How
I mean,
about
Compton was the soundtrack to the movie,
yeah,
basically,
I got
the
20
Straight Outta
beats
Compton
laying
movie.
around. I got 20
Yeah,
beats laying around. Let me go and get some couple
yeah,
of people and
yeah. So I
put this
mean,
out."
so yeah. But to answer your question, I think if Detox had come out when it was supposed to, or in either version of the iteration that we talked about, I think what happens is Dre further cements the West Coast, because we can all admit that the West Coast. I hate using the term fell off, but it wasn't as prominent as it was. There was a
It went
lull,
into a dry
basically.
spell. It
Yeah,
went
there
into
was
a
a
dry
dry
spell.
spell for the West Coast. And when a cat like The Game came out, he helped revive it. And I mean, at one point in time, you can make a case that he was literally carrying the West Coast on his back. Um, and then subsequently you had the Kendricks, the YGs, the Nipsey Hustles, so forth and so on. But yeah, I think if Dre drops Detox in either one of those windows that you named, I think ultimately the West, stays relevant. Not that they were ever irrelevant, but I think they hold fort as far as hip hop is concerned, because I think that album would have carried them. And then who knows, at that time, I'm not really sure where Snoop was contractually. He may have still been with No Limit, but
Oh no. In 02, I mean, after 02, he was done with them, because remember, Last Meal
okay,
came out in
okay,
02.
okay. Thank you,
So
because
he
I
would have
always
been,
get it confused.
yeah, but he was on Star Trek around this time.
Okay, so
Remember, he was the brief spell where he was on Star Trek with Pharrell and them for like an
for
album or
real,
two.
yeah.
This is around that time / him kind of going more independent, or
Okay,
not independent, but not, like just Snoop on priority or whatever.
but either way, I think ultimately, if that album comes out, you get Dre, you get the West Coast putting their stamp in hip hop again, and they're gonna stay there for a while, because that album, even just based off of what you just said, that album is gonna carry the West for a while, not
Yeah.
just a couple of months. I'm talking about for the better part of a couple of years, particularly if he's able to bring more people in, and they tour on it and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's what would have happened. Like you said, for whatever reason, and we've never really got a full answer from Dre as to why the album never came out. But if it
What is
had
your
been
opinion?
released,
What do you think? What do you think? Why do you think it didn't come out?
I think Dre is such a perfectionist.
I was just
I
gonna
mean,
say,
like,
I
if you
exactly what.
listen, and I'm a fan of his music, and even if you listen to something like Still Dre, like Still Dre, still is a banging ass song. I know he had Scott Storch with him and everything like that, as far as on the piano. And Jay-Z wrote it, obviously, which was crazy to me that Jay-Z wrote.
What if DOC never got into that car accident? What if Ice Cube didn't leave NWA? What if The Game never leaves G Unit? What if Teddy Riley never moves to Virginia? What if we got that J. Cole and Kendrick album? What if the RZA would have never had that flood? How would the hip-hop world sound today? Welcome to Hip Hop What Ifs, the podcast where we dive into the biggest what could have beens in hip-hop history. From iconic album delays to game-changing partnerships that never happened. We reimagine the culture we love and explore its alternative paths. And you are now at Hip Hop What Ifs.